What's up, Guardians? Welcome to another Destiny gameplay video. This will mark the second episode of my series Clutch Kills Q&A. Basically, during this series, what I'll do is I will field questions from viewers and subs that they throw at me in comments on my videos or toss at me on Twitter. So if you're interested in submitting a question for the next time I do this, feel free to leave it in the questions section here on this video, or feel free to tweet them at me on Twitter at @TheTrueVanguard. So yeah, let's get right into this. Basically, what you're gonna see in the background is, you know, I was asked by one of my subs to do a Q&A, and that's how I started this this series. And I always kind of had a bad, I don't know, opinion about Q&As. Not that the content in terms of what they're talking about is bad, but a lot of YouTubers, what they do is they see it as an opportunity to do easy content, and I hate posting easy content. So a lot of times you'll see them just driving a Sparrow around on a patrol and slapping some dregs around, and that just bothers me. I don't personally like doing easy content. So instead, what I decided to do is that during my Q&A stuff, what I would do is I would comb through hours and hours of footage to bring you some of my favorite moments in the Crucible over the past week. Basically, when I play, I'm pretty much recording almost every game, so my hard drive is always pretty close to full. So I kind of record everything as I go, so that later if I wanted to go back through it and kind of pick out some gems, I can. So that's what I do. I comb through a lot of footage to bring this stuff to you guys. So these are just some of my favorite moments from the Crucible over the course of the past week, and you'll see that in the background. So if you don't care at all about the Q&A, you can just turn the volume down and enjoy the kill montage in the background. You'll see a lot of Monte Carlo probably, just because I've been using it a lot this week, working on that build I told you about a few videos ago for the Titan, Titan Strength build. So you might see a lot of the Carlo. But anyways, figure let's jump right into the Q&A segment. First question I'll field is from a friend of mine, actually, a guy named Battle Ready, who tossed a question up on the last Q&A video. He asks, what is your opinion on stats? I'd personally like to see things like armor or agility have more effect on your playstyle. So when he asked the question about stats, he's referring to your armor and agility and recovery, the way that you're spec'd there. So yeah, actually I think it's a great point. I'm kind of with you on this one, Battle. I know that agility and armor and recovery do have an effect on how PvP plays out for you. I think that currently the one that matters the most, the one that you can actually really tell a difference if you're using lots of it or not, is recovery. Because I know that on my Titan, I used to be spec'd mainly in armor and agility with really low recovery, and I found myself, I'd be sitting around a corner with no shield trying to recover my shield, and it would just take forever. So I think that one does matter. But in terms of agility and armor, the difference is almost negligible. Now there are definitely times where armor does matter. There are some weapons, like consider the Polite Denial. If you have low armor spec'd for your PvP build, then the Polite Denial can actually two-shot you if it's precision hits. It does just enough damage. It's just barely enough damage to kill you. And it's only a difference of like 2 damage, where if you had spec'd into armor, then it would be just not enough to kill you. So there are times where it matters, but they're really, really few and far between. So I'm kind of with you on this one. I would love to see more kind of risk and reward, like you're saying, if I spec into more agility and less armor, which is really my play style. I'm really I like to run in, do a lot of damage, and then run out, recover my shields, and then run back in, run back out, and that's kind of how I play. So I would love to see more risk and reward in terms of that sort of those builds as well. So I'm on board with you on that one. Next question is from Logan Owens. He asks the question, how do you manage to keep up with high time to kill and DPS on guns like Thorn and the Last Word when you're using guns like 3 Little Words or the 123 Syzygy? And this is a question I've been asked several times. How do you deal with guns like Thorn or the Last Word where time to kill is so low? In fact, Stan Verna also asked on one of my videos, it says, how do you deal with Thorn users? I face a lot of them on Xbox. And so we'll talk about that for a little bit. You know, gunplay is obviously the most crucial part of an FPS, especially when it comes to PvP. Gunplay is huge, but it's not the only factor. So you kind of have to figure out what other things you can use to your advantage. So when I'm going up against guys using the last word or Thorn, you know, with Thorn especially, what I tend to do is when I see those thorns being fired, I kind of duck in and out of my horizontal cover, and then also use my vertical cover as well. Things that are tall, like obelisks or pillars or things like that, you can jump straight up. And then, especially with the glide ability on the Warlock, I can go straight up and then kind of slide out, either to the right or to the left. And so they're kind of trained on head level to look at you and try and find you. And just having that split-second difference can make all the difference in the world. It can keep you alive and give you enough time to drop them first. With the last word, one of the things that I literally do this when I'm going up against people using the last word is, instead of doing DPS initially in the firefight, like, you know, I'll go up against them and I'll probably get 1 or 2 shots in, but the second I realize that they're using the last word only has 8 rounds in a mag. So what I actually do, I literally do this, is I just kind of bunny hop in and out of some of my horizontal cover, and I start counting how many rounds I hear them fire off. And when I know that they get down to 2 or 3 rounds, that's when I really start pushing on the offense. And so if they miss one of those rounds, they got to reload, and the reload speed on the last word isn't fantastic. So I know that that's where my opportunity lies. So also another way is I use my sniper a lot. It's one-hit kill if you hit them in the head. And so sometimes I'll weigh the risk and reward, and if I think I got a good chance of popping out and hitting them with a headshot, bingo, that's how I do it. So, yep, that's kind of how I deal with those weapons that have the time to kill is just so low. And yeah, and I really do think that Thorn needs a little bit of work. I think that it's pretty obvious that it's in need of a little bit of balancing, which is kind of dumb. They've balanced it several times so far, kind of rebalanced it. So, you know, sometimes it does take some time just to get a gun where it ought to be. So we'll wait patiently. I think that one is in need of a bit of a nerf. I think that the best way to handle Thorn would be either to here's what I think: maybe 1 less round in the mag, go down to 8, just like the last word, and slightly reduce the rate of fire. Make it a high-risk, high-reward weapon instead of a low-risk, high-reward weapon. So that's what I think ought to be done with Thorn, personally. The last question here comes from the Crimson King X. He says, can you comment on which gear / stats you have chosen and why? Now, when it comes to gear, I collect a lot of gear. When I pull up my armor menus and whatnot, there's a lot there to choose from, and I try to mix it up. I try to have, when it comes to gloves, I try to have something that has increased reload speed for hand cannons with high intellect and discipline, on my Warlock especially. I also try to have some gloves that have increased reload speed for pulse rifles. I also try to have ones that do scout rifles, and you know, kind of like this. Depending on what weapons I'm using, I have different armor and gear for various loadouts that I do. So that's a really, really good question. I would highly encourage you to hang on to a lot of gear, because look at it and see if it fits your play style. If it's you know, maybe you do a Sunsinger, and if you're a Sunsinger, sometimes the best thing to do is to have gear that does a lot of strength, has strength and intellect. At least that's how I roll on my Sunsinger. I want strength and intellect gear, because Scorch is a ridiculously powerful melee ability. So what I do is I do Claws of Ahamkara frequently, not all the time, but I like to do Claws of Ahamkara with lots of strength, and that can really play out very well, especially if you're a close quarters player. So yeah, just always when you're collecting gear, when you get new legendary armor, take a look at it, see how it fits with your play style, and you know, kind of predetermine what you're looking for. Do you want strength? Do you want intellect? Do you want discipline? How's it going to play well with the other armor pieces that you have equipped? How is it going to affect the weapons that you choose to roll with normally? Some things make it so that you can carry additional special weapon ammo, and maybe you run around with your special all the time. Some things they just play well with the builds that you have. So yeah, so those are the questions I wanted to field. There's a little bit of time left in the video, and I just wanted to let you know during that time, if you have a question that you want to submit, feel free to submit it right here in the comments section on this video. If you enjoyed the video or you want to give some feedback, the way that my channel continues to grow and to develop is by looking very intently at all the comments and combing through all the feedback. So everything that gets posted, I read, and it affects what I do and how I choose to continue to develop the channel. So you guys are very much an influencing factor on how this channel grows and changes. So please feel free to post feedback. A little bit of a bubble dance party on the water tower here. So thanks guys for stopping by. I appreciate your support. Feel free to follow me on Twitch and Twitter. Bye.